afternoon and evening to a few of you. Welcome to today's community briefing. Today is that extra day in the year, leap day, February 29, and a little bit, it's the last day of Black History Month. And that you know that the concept of leap year or having an extra day was discovered by our ancestors in Egypt and in the third century before Christ, realizing that we have 365.25 days in a year. So that's why every year we get that extra day to make up for those quarter of days to keep the circle of the earth going around the sun. So in case y'all didn't know, if you don't know, now you know. So,
okay, didn't know why. And then for every human being that's born on February 29th, you get to say happy birthday to you. You've skipped 4 years of growing old.
Right. And they have to claim the 28th. And then they were showing all the kids that are being born or babies being born today, like your next birthday won't be until you're 4 years old. So,
yeah, there you go. Or not. Or not. You can subtract versus add. So it just depends on how you want to, what your get down and get and boogie is.
So today we don't have a guest. We have a number of people joining us. We decided to spend this day talking about the upcoming election. We're going to talk about some candidates. We're going to review some of the other positions out there at the state level, government level, local level, the judges. We've got a few people who gathered this past Saturday. About how many people were there? Crystal was there.
There's 25 people.
About 25 folks that got together talking about what's happening with the initiatives. So we're going to share that information with you today. And because voting is very important, we certainly hope and encourage that everybody here is registered and will be voting and got your ballot if you haven't sent it in already, or going to your local polling place and making sure that happens. My name is Gregory Sneed, and it is now my pleasure to bring the African-American queen of the community briefing to the virtual stage, Miss Crystal Mitchell.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. And we have Edwin Lombard and Joseph Razan, both are leaders in our community and may have some words of wisdom to impart on the importance of this voting for this election, if they don't mind. When we get to that place, we would definitely appreciate that. Today, I'm coming with red lips and my unapologetic shirt. So this is a day that is very important. And you guys know I work for children, so I'm working for our next generation. And all week long, I've been having a headache with all of the nonsense that's going on in DC. So this is a very important election. I truly believe, and you guys can back me up on this, our democracy as Americans as a whole is in jeopardy. But as Black folks, we on a whole nother level of jeopardy. So I think it's very, very important that we get to the polls, we vote. So thank you for coming. I'm the co-director of Recycling Black Dollars, as well as inspiration behind the community briefing, making sure that we had a place that we could come to voice and hear and meet all the leaders and stakeholders in our community. This is that source where you can come to get the information. We are powered by Recycling Black Dollars and the BBA, and then we have monetary sponsorship from Southern California Edison, SoCal Gas, PCR, Wells Fargo Bank, Los Angeles LDC, and the Urban Excellence company. So we want to thank them all for supporting us. I want to thank you guys for being here. This is important for me as Recycling Black Dollars. Last week we had a community gathering that was absolutely awesome. Us all coming together, my utopia. It was incredible to see all the bodies and people in the room excited about us using one voice to get our message through to our community, to the people that need to hear it. So that was fantastic. I am speaking next Tuesday, Election Day, on the power of the Black dollar. So I have been working on that presentation. So if I'm a little over the top, you guys got to understand. So I'm gonna leave it with this. We our spending power is as of today, as of 2020, during the pandemic, $1.8 trillion. Do you know the richest man in the world don't even have that much power? The richest man in the world do not have 1.8 trillion with a T. So you do know how powerful that is. So this is why this day is so important, and not just for us, it's for our future. So with that, we have a powerful team here. Ms. Robin Billups, she's going to introduce herself. You just met Greg Sneed. Stephen just popped off for a second, but Stephen Turner is our producer. He's the one that's reaching out to everyone. So I want to thank all of them. And so you guys ready? And I hope y'all already registered and we can kick it off. But before we do that, Robin, introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good day, as Greg would say. It's Robin Billups with the Billups Group. You know, I bring 40 years worth of experience in professional, and I'm a professional development coach focused on assessing and developing a strategic plan to help clients meet their goals. I work with entities and entrepreneurs in the supply chain inclusion and compliance space. Today is important to me because when we think about whose shoulders we're standing on, I think these young people tend to forget that when you look, you have to look back, and if the word Sankofa means to bring forward. So today we just decided that today would be a good day to have a great conversation around the importance of voting. And at the end of the day, it's the power that we have. It is the power that we collectively, that we have individually, and that we have collectively. And democracy is on trial right now. And it's not looking good. It's not looking good. So again, thanks everybody for dialing in today. And I salute all of our regulars who are here, and you guys know who you are. All right, Greg, I'm kicking it back to you.
I'm gonna kick it over to Stephen since he's here, and it's outside of our norm. So have Stephen Turner jump in and say hello. Stephen, come to the virtual.
Hello, everyone.
But I
want to thank Bianca Becky for suggestion for future speakers. Renee, you've always been a champion. Michael Banner and others, as well as Dilma. Ms. Martez, we got you scheduled for April.
All right.
Okay.
So today we were scheduled to hear from the head of the Urban League, Cynthia Hurd, something Hurd. Mitchell Hurd, yes. Thank you very much. And also David Anderson, due to a scheduling thing on their end, they are focusing on getting things up and running there with the LA Urban League. So they will be joining us sometime in a month or two, perhaps sometime in April. So we wanted to take this opportunity because of the upcoming elections to really focus on what is coming up on the ballot. Hopefully, show of hands. Everybody here is registered, I hope. Everybody's registered? Show your hands. Everybody registered? Okay. And how many plan on voting?
I already did mine.
I got to lower my hand here. When I raise my hand, I have it set where if I raise my hand like that, it does the anyway. So, Crystal attended a session, and we're going to have Emma Maxey joining us shortly. But Crystal, I want you to share with us what they had is about 25 people that came together at the one of our viewers' homes and went through the ballot, discussing some of the measures. I think we're going to start, Crystal, if you will, on Proposition 1. There's only one proposition this year for the state. And my understanding is that it is for mental health care and addiction treatment reform. And I also will share, actually, I'll share with it right now since I'm thinking about it before we get started. Because I just received this email 5 minutes before we went on air. So look at,
Awesome.
so it's going over this proposition, and it's going to be held at First Amy Church. It's the League of Women Voters of Los Angeles. This coming Sunday, the 3rd of March. Immediately following the 9 a.m. worship, we're going to have the guest speakers, Dr. Gina Yvette Davis and Gabrielle Gulej, talking about the LA City ballot initiative and the California Proposition 1. So I will post this again at the end, but this was just sort of breaking news. So Crystal, over to you, and Robin, chime in. Proposition 1, what are the thoughts? What's happening with that?
Okay, and Renee was there as well. Actually, it was mostly women there. We did have a visit from one of the uh, um, candidates, Ara Vasquez. Everyone is campaigning for the Senate and also District 10. And so she popped in. She's about environment. She's an environmentalist, and so we got to meet her as well. But on the prompt, so there's two measures actually. There's the measures HLA, which is the Los Angeles Municipal Election, and it's regarding street safety, street mobility, planned improvement. So again, this is, I guess, wherever you happen to live, how important this is. So I think the overall, as I did my research, was about creating an additional bike lane or blockades, bus lanes, to protect the cyclists on the streets, right? So I think this is a personal preference on you guys' part. Our streets are congested depending on what areas you drive in. It can be you're already bumper to bumper to traffic. So again, so that means another lane taken away from, in my opinion, this is my opinion, that's not y'all's, my opinion. So you have to vote on what that looks like in the communities that you live in. But that's what that measure is about, is creating bicycle transit and vehicle routes and requiring the city of Los Angeles to provide publicly accessible information regarding street improvements. I do agree with that. But I don't know, just depends on where you're living. The supporters of the Sierra Club, the Los Angeles County Labor Fed, and the Los Angeles Biz Fed, and Move LA. So, and
Crystal,
Local 721. Yes, anyone have any comments on
I
that?
want to jump in on this one. So think about it. When you guys look at all of these major streets and all of these huge developments that are going up, right? Every household has 2 to 3 cars. So where are people going to park if they're taking away the lanes? If they're taking away these lanes in order for people to park on the street? I don't have an opinion. I have a personal opinion about this, but I want us thinking about the fact that these neighborhoods are changing and they continue to take away the space that's needed to park these cars. Yeah, and the idea that they want us to move to electric vehicles, and they want people to use public transportation. But till those areas are a little bit more safer and a little bit more connected, that you can get off this train and get on this bus, or get off this train and get on another train, we have some serious challenges around providing another measure that will take away some street access or parking access, pedestrian access as well. So that's kind of my opinion about that.
And I think Kevin Ross he's with something with safety. Kevin, did you want to? Yeah, he's with Create World Safety.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning. My name is Kevin Ross Jr. I am with Creation World Safety. We provide safety training such as CPR, first aid, forklift, boom lift, scissor lift, OSHA 10, OSHA 30, HAZWOPER, confined space, a variety of other training and certifications. We specialize in providing OSHA consultation services as well with companies and organizations so that they know their rights, they know the ins and outs of OSHA and the law so that they are in compliance. We also help provide jobs as well to employees as well as the students that go through our certification process. We've been in business for 27 years. We are MBE, SBE, and DBE or company as well. We work with a lot of different variety of contractors as well as Clark Construction, ACOM. We work at LAX, SoFi, Clipper Stadium, a variety of other jobs and projects. I just wanted to introduce myself and let everyone
Did you
know.
have any input for
Measure
measure
HLA?
HLA?
No, I don't actually. I
Okay.
don't.
Joe, you had your hand up?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. We can't hear you,
We
though.
can't hear you, Joe. And then Michael Banner's going to be next.
Can you guys hear me now?
Now
Yes.
we can. Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me
I
now?
can hear you.
Let me first, I just want to really congratulate the chambers, the BBA, RBD, GLAC, Crenshaw Chamber, et cetera, for coming together as you did. I think hasn't been a better time to come together and bring all the wealth of knowledge and work that you guys are doing individually in a collective fashion. So I just wanted to congratulate you for that. I think that's very important right now. With regards to this measure, I want to just address 2 points. One is I really don't think the public has been engaged and informed enough of the impacts.
Right?
This has been kind of rushed through. I wouldn't call myself an environmentalist, but I'm very sensitive to the issue of our environment, our oceans, our green space for our children, grandchildren, et cetera. But I'm also concerned about public safety.
Mm-hmm.
Although I live in the county, uh, the same issues that go on in the city reflect in the county, and I watch emergency vehicles try to
Navigate.
community, and it is, Slauson and La Cienega is a mess, and I've seen these fire trucks and law enforcement vehicles try to maneuver through with current availability of traffic lanes, and if those are reduced, I'm deeply concerned about response times.
Mhm.
And not only just for property safety, for fires and emergency needs, paramedics, but also for crime. I mean, it's particularly in communities of color where response times tend to be longer than in other parts of the city. And so, that being said, I am not a fan of this particular proposition at this time. I think more study needs to take place.
Thank
Great
you.
point.
Michael Banner? You gotta take
Yeah,
yourself
you're
off
on
mute.
mute. Michael, you're on mute. There you go.
There
How
you
about
go.
now? Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So, I, like Joe, I live in the county, but, the city of LA is the largest city in the entire county. So what it does impacts everybody. I don't think, as Joe said, I think there's enough awareness about what the outcomes will be when this happens, if it happens. And if you spent time in kind of Westchester, Mar Vista, some of that's become the poster board for how to try to get this done with Mike Bonin. And in my view, it didn't go over well. Other thing I will tell you, I heard this morning, I was on a webinar by RCLCO, which is a real estate consulting and strategy company. And they were saying that the trend that they see that's got legs is suburban activity. And street calming, in my view, is more of a suburban model. And I don't think it's that easy to do it in a high density urban environment because you have all this population density and you got to move people around. And I believe there is a faction in the fire department that is against this. And I think their notion was If you don't come and talk to the fire department about what you're going to do on the streets, you're not getting the proper input.
Mm-hmm.
So, if I had to vote, I would vote no.
All righty. Thank you very much. So
That's good. That's good input, Michael, from the standpoint of who have they surveyed to in support of this, other than the folks who are environmentally focused, and really and truly, how impactful will it be for the people who are pushing this initiative? It's gonna. How I take that back. What I'm trying to say is exactly what he just said. How is it going to impact the people who did not get a chance to voice their opinion about this? And why wouldn't we be looking at our fire life safety kind of folks, over and above the fact that let an accident happen, forget just trying to make space for the fire and the police and what have you. Let an accident happen, and then here come 15 police officers, and then they block the whole street. Whereas if they would just pull over, folks could get around, what have you, what have you. Michael, is your hand still up, or Michael Banner, is your hand still up, or did you want to lower it? Delmy, go ahead, Michael, and then we'll call on Delmy.
I think
I
yeah.
think he
No,
was
I'm
finished. I
done.
think.
I'm done. So you guys
Okay,
can.
lower your hand, Mike. Delmy.
Hello. Hi. I love going out on my bike once in a while. And I live near Culver City area. And I can tell you that they have that bike lane right there, but I don't see a lot of people using it. So now when I go, which is like 2 miles to go to Culver City or, back and forth, it takes me forever, especially during traffic time. So yes, I don't think they have looked into that, especially the areas where there's already only 2 lanes plus the parking space. So like Crystal was saying, it is a personal choice to vote yes or no on this, but I have seen the impact, in that little area there in Culver City, like Washington, like from La Cienega all the way to Culver City, they have that. Traffic is terrible since they came up with that, closing that lane. So that's just my opinion on that.
Thank you. And if we recognize what's going on, and for those urban planners that, obviously Michael Banner and so forth. So some of the issues that are happening is they're making our urban areas much more denser by adding huge apartment complexes to maximize that. Inglewood is being greatly affected by it. Crenshaw is, I think there's like 4 or 5 different projects going up right now that look like, I think on one corner there's going to be over 250 units over there. So if you have all of those vehicles plus separate lanes, as they're saying, we're having a hard time getting around. So that just, again, it's your personal opinion, but my vote on it is no. But that's me. So next one is the state.
Before you go there, I know there was a lot of federal funding that came in for some of the what they call road diets and making bicycles a more common mode of transport. But I do recall seeing something that the Culver City realized that they had got the cart before the horse, so to speak, and they're going to be retracting some of those lanes because the traffic congestion was so bad. I believe that the Culver City Council voted, and soon we should be seeing a retraction of some of those lanes there. So sometimes, you experiment, you're not sure whether it's going to work or not, and it may work, it may not work, but hopefully our elected officials are listening where they try something, and if it doesn't work, it's making things worse, to undo it and not just, dig their heels in the sand, so to speak. But I did see something was going on with that. Crystal, what was up next? Are we moving
so
to
the next measure is the state measure, which is the authorizing $6.38 billion in bonds to build mental health treatment facilities for those with mental health issues and substance use challenges, providing housing for the homeless. Roughly 140 million annually of existing tax revenue for mental health, drugs, and alcohol treatment from counties to state. increase state bond repayment cost of $310 million annually for 30 years. Supporters are the California Professional Firefighters, California Association of Veteran Services, and the National Alliances on Mental Illness. I spoke to, again, this is a personal thing for everyone. I thought we voted on something like this last election or last two elections. At least I think that's because I do this whole thing, and I believe that I remember doing that. I also spoke to a friend of mine that works for the County of Los Angeles, and she works in the mental health space, and she was saying there is money there. It's just that it's not getting to the right places, and far as it gets to the homeless, I know there are billions of dollars been allocated to that for the last 4 elections. And so my question is, what has happened to those dollars that were allocated there? So I don't know. For me, it just seems like I keep voting on the same thing, and I don't see any changes when I drive through the street. I know there's still 50,000 homeless people on the street, and I know not all of them have mental illness, but I do know we have a housing crisis, and and we can't and disparity between how much you can afford for rent and what you can't afford for rent. And so for me, the math don't math, guys. So if I only make $40,000 a year, my rent is 3,000. I can't make that. I don't care what you put out there. So that's just on my opinion. Anyone else that has an opinion, we welcome that.
Well, when I looked at my voting guide. Oh, that's right. I got the thing on here. I can't see what I do with the background, but it's my primary election voting guide, and the information on Prop 1 is 68 pages. And you'd have to be mentally ill to even have to read all of those pages. I mean, and there's no summarization of it. So, you get worried about if it's got that much detail that, what's being hidden, where does that money go, and what's the oversight of it? How does that, it's for me, I'm challenged on voting for it because of the detail and complexity of it without a summary, without someone being able to. So was there anything that you guys covered that sort of summarized, or anyone?
No, it's actually, I think everyone's of the same. Yeah, I think everyone's of the same opinion that it's not, we don't see the measures and outcomes of what has happened on all the other voting that we've done in this space. And yes, it's very intense. I guess from when I first looked at it, I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then I start talking to some people, and I was like, well, maybe that doesn't make any sense. So I don't know. Again, my personal opinion is, after I thought about it, and I talked to someone that was a judge, former judge, and she was saying she was voting no on it. And so I don't know, that those are our opinions. Anyone else has?
I vote no on it because there's too much information in there, and that much money. That money doesn't end up generally doesn't end up much well in our community. So,
well, and the other part to that is, when we look at and some other folks on here certainly can chime in on this. When we look at the role that police and fire departments are playing now versus what they were originally hired for, and what the original premise was for, now they are a lot of the calls, majority of those calls are now mental health related, domestic abuse related, that type of thing. But it was my understanding that money was allocated for that in some of these other measures. And I agree with the two of you that, to your point, Greg, somebody else mentioned that, I think it might have been in the LA Times, that they mentioned that the document is so thick and there's so many pieces and parts to it. Who had an opportunity to digest that?
And no summary.
And no summary. And then two, we collectively have to start asking for an audit of the funds that's already been approved and allocated, right? I think that the coalition breakfast, or the alliance breakfast that was held, is going to be the voice needed to make a demand that we actually get some feedback on where these monies are going, and clarity when somebody wants to sponsor a measure, let's put them up for charges to come here and explain it to us, you know. And I think that this is today, yes, it's a leap year. We won't do this every 4 years. I think going forward, we will have an opportunity to have more conversation around all of this stuff that's coming up.
All right. All righty. So let's jump over to the city locals for those of us that are in the city.
Well, hold on a minute.
Oh,
Let me look. Let me see what's in here in the chat box. I've asked Renee to chime in because she did attend that meeting that you guys
yes.
had. What's your Michael Banner has included in here? What's your view? I would like to inform my candidate of your needs. Michael, can you give us a little bit more feedback on that? Where'd you go? Did he leave
Oh,
us?
I
Okay,
don't
well,
know.
we'll carry on.
It was Michael. It was he sent me an email. He was supporting Adam Schiff for the
Okay.
U.S. Senate,
Mhm.
and just want to know what was our take on that.
Okay, well, we'll put that. We'll table that for just a second.
Yeah, we'll get there in a
To
second.
wrap this piece up. Okay.
All righty. So our next one for Los Angeles City primary nomination for District 10. That's the seat that is being temporarily held by our Heather Hunt. I've actually come to meet her on several occasions, and I like what she's doing from my standpoint. I think she jumped right on there from her temporary space when I think she took that over from Herb Webson, Herb Webson. I don't know. I did some research on Eddie. I don't know quite about that. Reggie Jones Sawyer, I thought he was in a different district. And my understanding, I've heard he's run out of money. Or we did meet. And I think maybe in the next couple of years, she might make a real big impact on that district. She lives in that district. She even drives around on a little scooter. Thought that was cute. She walks and talks her walk because she's an environmentalist. And so, my understanding that Grace Yu has been running for every 10th district election for the last 10 years. So I don't know what that says. But from my standpoint, I'm voting for Heather Hunt. I think she's been doing a pretty good job from where I sit. Some of us, I know, Sarah, you are may have interacted with her more. Michelle, Edwin, you may have some input on that because you're pretty involved with the chamber. So anyone else has an opinion?
Well, since you called me out,
All right.
I'd have to agree with you. I think Heather Hutt is doing an incredible job. She jumped into a bit of a firestorm after the Herb Weston situation, and she calmed the waters, and she's really doing a great job. And I don't think if someone is in an interim situation doing a great job that you kick them out when the opportunity comes for them to be there for a long term. I think she's going to do great things for the district. I think she's going to do great things for Los Angeles. I know her personally, and I think the world of her.
Okay. Sarah, did you have any input? You're on mute. And she grew up in Los Angeles. Is my understanding she went to Dorsey?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to find my
Your
mute
mute.
button. Anyway, yes, no. All ditto everything, and she's very dedicated and conscientious, especially about empowering for Black businesses. And we had a great working partnership when we did our business empowerment fair last August and everything. And just besides that, I just know that she's dedicated, and we need to continue to support her.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, that's it on. So your choice. This is your voting choice. We can't tell you who to vote. We just can give you some information. So the next one is the Los Angeles Unified School District Member of Board of Education. The general consensus from our meeting on Saturday was Dee Dee Watts. She's been in the education field. I like it when folks are actually educators and have been really doing some amazing things. I think her husband actually worked at he was one of my nephew's teachers, and my nephew absolutely loved her husband. So again, it's a personal thing for me. But Dee Dee, I think for our kids, we have to have people that really have the kids, our children, future as their forefront of all the decisions that they make. So that's pretty much where we came with Dee Dee Watts. Anyone else have any recommendations for
That's for
anyone?
board one, right? For
That's
replacing.
on board. Yeah, that's District 1. So it might not be for everyone.
Yeah.
My suggestion was Dr. Dwayne Davis, given his background, his history of higher education, as well as his dedication to marginal students and identifying strengths and weaknesses. As some have a demonstrated history. So Dr. Dwayne Davis for School Board
Okay.
District 1.
Okay, so guys, do your research and possibly on those two particular candidates, and just I guess whatever makes you feel warm and fuzzy, right? So that's what it comes down. But do your research. So that's what's important. Member of the State Assembly Board. So here's the thing. I don't know. The Republican Party, the GOP party just seems to be on a whole nother plane. They seem to be in another United States. It's not in the same United States of America I'm living in. So I am voting for anybody that's a Democrat. that's my first criteria. And so that means Isaac Bryan. He's a Democrat. I'm just not feeling confident with the Republicans. They seem to all fallen into the Republican world of Trump, and that just as far as Black people go, we not incorporated in that
What
paradigm.
district is that though? That's a different district, right? So
that is District 55. So for any
5.
one of you that are in the 55th district, okay. So again, you have to do your, if you know that there's some Republicans that have that are really partisan, then you do your thing. But that's where I am.
Yeah, I'm in District 1, so that would be Tina McKinnon versus Alfonso Hernandez, Republican. So I'm voting for Tina there.
Anyone else in any other district? Joseph?
I am. I'm in the 66th, and that's Al Mirasucci. But what I wanted to say was at the breakfast on Friday, I was approached by a gentleman who told me that he was running for the assembly, and clearly I wasn't in his district. We still engaged for a few minutes, and he deems himself a moderate Republican. And we had some dialogue around that, and he seemed to be a decent enough person. The problem is, folks, we can't ever forget that when they become elected, no matter how moderate they may seem to be, they fall in line, which I wish Democrats had the same kind of discipline. That might be a topic for a different day. When I was watching what happened in Michigan this week, maybe we'll have time to get to that. But Republicans fall in line. So this idea that he might be a very reasonable person, we shook hands, we had a dialogue that went okay, but we can never fall victim to the idea that they're run from the top down. It is now a wholly owned subsidiary of Trump Inc., which is pretty much defunct in the state of New York. And, again, I'm speaking for me. I can't speak for anybody else. I can't vote for anything with an R. There was a time when I wished that might be possible because I am a political scientist by undergrad major. I believe that two parties are important. Part of the reason Democrats don't do what we want them to do is because there's nobody that's going to force them to. If Republicans were competitive in some of these situations, it would require more of the Democrats. But we can't take that risk right now. There's too much at stake. We can't play with it. So I'm with Crystal. If you got an R, no matter how decent you may be and how much you smile and how many times you shake my hand, you have zero chance.
All righty, Miss Renee. You gotta take yourself off mute.
And we know that Donald Trump says a lot of things that are not true. But one thing he said yesterday is that Republicans are more cohesive than they have ever been. So that goes right on to your point. If you got an R, it should be a question mark in your mind. That's all.
All righty. Thank you much. Okay, so any other districts? Can you guys, if you're in
Hold on
any
a
other,
minute. I
oh,
want Carolyn. Where are you? Carolyn Fowler.
Carolyn Fowler?
We need you to get off of mute. Come on,
Wow,
sister.
you cut him off. You shouldn't have cut him off. Let him finish his statement.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who do we cut off?
There was a gentleman speaking. I couldn't see
Oh,
who
no,
it
no,
was.
Joseph, he closed out.
Yeah, he closed out.
Oh, he
Mhm.
closed out.
And if
Okay.
I had to cut him off, he would have told me. We got major history. Go right ahead.
Yes, I really think you guys should do your homework. It's fun. I'm fascinated listening to this because the people that you're supporting have all endorsed Charlotte. It's funny. Heather, Tina, Holly, Sydney. It's interesting because Charlotte has been in the district for 20 some years. That's why Dr. McKenna picked her. And she has 2 children, 2 male boys. They go to Baldwin. Public school is critical. We have some good charters, but we have some bad ones. And the key is we can't build 2 systems of schools with only one funding source, But I think it gets down to who's been in the district. Dee Dee just moved here in May of last year. She'll be coming up on a year. Dwayne has been out of the district for years. He worked in other states. Not to take anything away from their credentials. They have it. But the reason Dr. McKenna went with Charlotte is because she's current on what's going on, budget and everything. And when you talk about small business, we've had 2 now. But this last small business contracting training that we held at the district, we had over 100 participants because we understand the importance of getting our small businesses up to speed so they can get these vendor contracts. The other candidates can't say that. And that's why I'm saying do your homework. There's a reason why Maxine's endorsed her as well. So she's got both congresswomen from the district. She's got pretty much Mike Gibson. She's got several of the assembly people. She's got Heather, some of the local businesses as well. You can see her. Just go to her website, CharlotteHendy.Newville, Charlotte Hendy Newville, and read about her story.
Okay, thank you. So,
You're
and that's
welcome.
why we're having this, Carolyn, so that everybody can get their, what
Own
your
information.
research is kind of an open type of forum. But the more information that we have for each other, then we can make better informed decisions.
Yes,
And so
thank you.
yeah, so that's kind of what that's happening. So thank you for your input, Stephen.
I also agree. I also agree with that. LAUSD is a significant client of mine, but since I live in the city of Inglewood, I don't get a voice to vote for a lot of these measures and candidates that, especially those that impact. Obviously, I leave the city of Inglewood. It's not, super large, like it's a big city and we got Beverly Hills and Culver City. But a lot of things that happen within the city of Los Angeles, we don't have an input on it for some of these votes. Same thing with the mayor. But I do endorse also Charlotte Handy Newbill for that board 1 with LAUSD. So thank you for bringing
Greg, I totally agree with you. My husband worked for LAUSD till he retired, and I'm always looking for the person who got skin in the game. Like she said, she has kids. But again, guys, this whole forum is for us. You share your insights, share your knowledge, and help direct, where folks are going, and folks are going to go into that voters booth and vote on what they want to vote on. But this dialogue gives us an opportunity to have some feedback from everybody.
The city of Los Angeles and LAUSD are pretty much the 500-pound gorilla. I had put in the chat, I haven't lived actually in Los Angeles in over 25 years, but everything or much of what I do is in the city of Los Angeles. and everything they decide affects pretty much the whole county. So it's a little bit of a situation where we wish we, like Greg said, we wish we had more input, but all we can do is support folks that may have their head in the right place, and not forget, and I know Greg doesn't, I don't forget to vote in the little local elections where I live, because we have city council people up that I'm sure we won't talk about on here, and nor should we. I'm probably the only one that's concerned about what's happening in the city of Torrance right now. But those other small cities have some influence on our lives as well.
We have a lot to cover, so we've had some good content here. But if we can abbreviate going forward, we try to slam through a bunch of them. Crystal, what's up next? Are we doing LA County Supervisor?
We have the U.S. State Representative, which is the 37th district. So it's Juan Ray, Sydney Kamalaga-Dole, and we have Adam J. Carmichael and John Thompson Parker. So I love Sydney, and I voted for her in the last previous elections, and she's been on this program a couple of times, I believe. And so she seems to be standing true and just fighting the good fight. I like her. But anyone else has any preferences for any of the other candidates that's there?
I just want to say that you're spot on, Crystal.
Okay.
Sydney she's dogmatic about seeing that, her representatives, that she represents her district well. And in particular, people of color, Black people, let's be straight about that, and women. Okay. She's a strong fighter for women and women's rights. It's something we need at this particular time. And I wouldn't vote for anyone else but Sydney.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what we have on Sydney. County.
I have
sorry.
Hold on. The 43rd. I have a severe conflict, and this one's going to be a little troubling. I'm going to end up voting, but I do have a belief that there should be an age limit on some of our representatives, both at the Senate and U.S. representatives. I'm going to be voting for Ani Maxine, but I believe Ani Maxine is 85, and I'm going to make the statement. I think at some point in time, our representatives should be grooming somebody to succeed and come behind them. I firmly believe that Dianne Feinstein stayed in there way too long, and I would be in favor of an 80 limit. That said, I'm still going to be voting for Ani Maxine, but I'd like to see someone developed to come in, because at age 85, you just don't have the same energy level, the same ability to get out there and do things. It's just biology. So that's my 2 cents. Sorry.
That's an excellent point. It's an excellent point from the standpoint of I truly believe that what does not happen is that people don't have a bench, right? So you should be able to step down because you created this bench, and you have an individual who can continue to carry forth, because that person that's on your bench, you guys have the same thought process, what have you.
Bench.
And from an age perspective, we have to it is a conversation for another time, from the perspective of, we got a president who's old as black pepper, but when we look at where we are right now, we got to go with what we know, right? We got to go with what we know.
We got to go with what we know, and she knows how to fight. Carolyn. She knows how to fight that other one trying to come in. So as long as they got that chutzpah to fight that one, that's who I'm voting for. You can't fight him. I'm sorry, you can't be. So I need Auntie who can speak her mind, because she's 85. Yep. And I dare you to say something against me. Yeah. That's who I'm voting for. The ones that got some kick butt in them still.
Exactly. Exactly.
2 things. Greg is right. It would be good to have a point where there was an age limit. However, that would require a constitutional amendment.
Right.
And if we follow our politics and know what that requires, there are no constitutional amendments coming in our lifetime, most likely. The second part of that is there's a reason why there's never a bench. It's because the folks who get in do everything they can to prevent anybody else from potentially rising up against them. They fundraise, and for lack of a better term, they just block. And you know what goes before block? They block anyone that might come against them. Another reason why, if we had a reasonable other party and we could make some of these races competitive, that would be in everyone's best interest. But I also want a pony, and I never got that either. So
Not too late. And you've had 400 of them or more and under the hood. So.
So you want to work with that, Joseph. Yes, Carolyn. And then we're going to move on to our judges real quick.
Just real quick. The difference about Congress is everything is by seniority. So that does change your perspective a lot, because when you first get in, like Sydney's new. So she may have some committees, but she has no clout. The reason these people stay and they move up in seniority. And so when you get to be chair of financial services, you can call the CEOs of these banks down and tell them what they better do, what they better not do, what they better stop doing. So that's why you have to think about that a little different in terms of the Congress, Senate, and the House. That's why Diane was there. They needed that vote.
Yeah.
And they said, please, they were begging her not to die because they needed that vote.
Yeah.
And it makes a big difference. So you have to look at Congress just a little differently. I just wanted to point that out. Yes, they should be mentoring. I can't swear that people aren't. Some people mentor and they don't tell you.
Well, but the thing is that, and I love what you just said, Carolyn, but the thing is that from what I was seeing, not that I was up close and personal, her staff was the one that was pushing stuff forward anyway. So to me, to your point, yes, they are mentoring people. Yes, they really have created a bench, but somewhere along the line, they have to decide that, it's a crazy balance, because if that individual has been working with a Maxine or a Dianne Feinstein, they're immersed in what's going on. But when they come on board, they're the newbie. But so really and truly, what we're really all saying is our system needs to be fixed.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and that ain't in our lifetime. I don't
It
think.
ain't in our
Not based
lifetime.
based upon what we're seeing now. So we're gonna jump on over to county because got a few more. We just got a little bit more minute. We have Clint D. Carlton, Daphne Bradford, Katrina Williams, Holly J. Mitchell. Holly, I tell you, I had, when we voted before, and we had the whole litany of people. Jan Perry was my person, but I have actually been up for in close and personal with Holly, with her RJ, her racial justice meetings, and I just love this woman, and I think we're related. So but I'm very, because I think somewhere in the DNA we related, but I think she came in and she did a phenomenal job, and I don't see any reason to change what's not broke. That's my opinion. Anyone else?
I've had an opportunity. I haven't directly worked with her, but that you guys know the the housing and transit development project that I'm working on with Michael Anderson. Her team, Holly Mitchell, this is what I love about somebody like this. She has empowered her team to have the real meetings that need to take place to bring her the information, so that you're not starting from scratch every time you sit down with these politicos, right? And she's done an exceptional job empowering her staff to be able to hear us, to bring that information back. And I think that when I always tell folks, when you want to meet with somebody of power, if they can't meet, ask for a designee. But is that person an influence or a decision maker? They have to be at least be at that level. So to your point, I agree with you.
Okay. So now let's jump on over to the district attorneys. Nathan Hockman. Some of these, and actually Emma is on the phone. Emma, can you talk to us? Emma's having
She was having trouble registering. Yeah.
Yeah, she has internet problems also going on. Something happened. Based upon our meeting, we went through all of the different candidates. We were using also Maxine Waters' suggestions and as well as the LA Sentinel. And so our general consensus was George Garcon needs to come out. We came up with John McKinney based upon the conversation that came from the meeting that we were at on Saturday. And so if anyone else, and that was on Emma's research as well, can't tell you who to vote for, but I know George, no, that's all I know.
I also have the same name. I get an email every year, and it's a group of people pretty much in the legal community. They're sort of, some of them are members of the League of Women Voters, but not all of them. And they also suggested John McKinney.
Okay. And then, so there you go. So you guys have anything else, you pop that in chat. The judges. So the general consensus from the meeting, from when we were there on Saturday was, and actually talked to some other friends of mine that are attorneys, as far as the judges go, with the ones that are defense attorneys versus prosecutors. Don't know what you guys feel about that, but again, utilizing resources from the LA Sentinel, as well as Maxine Waters was Rhonda Heyman. What about did you get any information on that, Greg?
Yeah, I have one office by office. So if you have your ballot, you can just put a little tick mark next to it. Again, this is from that same group. So Superior Court Judge number 12, Rhonda A. Heyman. Judge Office number 39, George A. Turner Jr. Superior Court Judge Office number 48, Erica J. Wiley. Superior Court Judge Office number 93, Victor Avila.
He's the only one running.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, he should have a good shot at it. Superior Court Judge number 97, Sharon Ransom. Superior Court Judge Office number 115, Christmas Brookins. Superior Court Judge Office number 124, Kimberly Rebecca. Superior Court Judge Office number 130, Leslie Gutierrez. Superior Court Judge Office number 135, Georgia Huerta. And Superior Court Judge Office number 137, Tracy M. Blount. This group does review their voting. It does review their case records and how they are treating people of color. So they do a pretty extensive review. I've been getting this email, probably for the last 6 or 7 years, and been using it because prior to that, I was just, it seems like, I was clueless. So hopefully that helps. I don't do enough research on it, but that was the information that I get pretty regularly. And this gets forwarded from a member of my church.
And actually, that was pretty much all the people that we in the meeting that we were on Saturday with Emma. Those are the individuals, the candidates that were selected as well.
Right,
the other
right.
one, yeah, I say that again, Emma.
I was saying everyone that we just went through, those were the ones that we selected. I did do my research on them. And one of the things that must be, you might not know, you may have told them this, that at the end of the year, when your presidents pick certain judges for lifetime position, these guys aren't selected because they're still attorneys. And so we have to get people like us, looking like us, as judges. And most of them are defense attorneys. It's imperative that they end up being judges. So it's important.
Okay,
put that in consideration.
Just when you look at what's going on across the nation, especially at the national level, that's exactly what they're doing. That's what the Republicans are doing.
Exactly.
They are actually, picking these people and positioning them So it's time for us, and somebody said this early, we got to start playing the game, not necessarily the way they play, but we have to manage how we play the game. Yolanda.
But these are,
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
absolutely, they're all qualified. I'm sorry, I can't say anything, and I'm not trying to talk about people, but they're all qualified in their field. Trust me, and they will make good judges, and they need that opportunity to be a judge. And if when they choose those judges, when presidents leave office, they all do. And you look at who they've put in these positions, and they're going to be there for a long time. So in order for these women and men to get that opportunity, we have to vote for them.
Yeah. Yolanda.
Now take off mute.
Yeah, NAPI hosted a whole series of presentations by the district, people who are running for district attorney, people who are running for judge, people who are running for school board, so that the community of parents and families and students could get to hear directly from them. And what was clear, certainly to us through this whole process, was there are some people who talk the game and some people who live the game when it comes to the Black community. I mean, with all due respect, I mean, we did have John McKinney come and talk to us. He never came off the Hill. He never came to 54th Street. So yeah, he's a Black brother. I get it. He's one of us, but he's never been amongst our community. Yet we had other district attorney representatives who are running who work in our communities every day, ensuring that Black people don't get the kind of sentences that they do for buying a bag of chips out of 7-Eleven and not paying for it and then being in jail for 4 years. He couldn't give us any of those hard, concrete examples. So I just felt I wanted to just share that with you. All the videos are posted on the NAPI website for who came to speak to us. But some of the people you've listed, I mean, we really need to hear their stories about how are they Black? I mean, I'm just keeping it real with all of you. We're after Black people, not people who look like us, but you know, they represent a cookie called an Oreo. So I'm just leaving that out there with you all to think about. Because
if you can provide us in the chat box, if you could provide us with that link, then folks can actually take their time to take a look at that.
I mean, he was the only one on the platform. I get it. We need people who understand us. And I was really excited about him when I first met him at the Empowerment Congress. That's why we invited him. But when we dug deep, that brother didn't have what it took. So
okay, but what I'm asking you is, please share. Thank you.
I'm going to share the link.
Okay. All righty. Thank you. We needed that. As well. So now the next one. So Greg, do you have the 55th Assembly? Did that group give you that as well?
No, it's pretty much. Yeah, I don't have that.
So Emma has those. There's 7. but you don't have to choose 7. Go ahead, Emma.
You don't have to choose 7, but I'll tell you who I did. I'm not going to go why I picked them right now. We don't have the time. Okay, I start with Jasmine Carnett, Jimmy Woods Gray, Pamela Sparrow, Erin Ardari, Vilma Dawson, Rosa Russell, and Sarah Roos. Those are the 7. You do not have to pick 7, and you do not have to go with the individuals that I selected.
Okay.
Which seat or race is this? What part of?
This is 55th Assembly District.
These are all member County Central Committee, 55th Assembly District.
Got it.
Okay. Okay. National election. There is only one Democrat, so if you're voting for a Democrat, that would be Joseph Biden. I don't care if the man is triple crazy and crawling on his stomach. I'm voting for him.
I voted for him.
Next. that's how I'm voting. Triple crazy, one leg, I don't care. As long as he can get to that desk and put his hand up on the Bible, that's all I care about.
And it's not upside down, right?
And it's not upside down. Sorry.
And I know you guys. I know you
That's by
guys are
elimination, process of elimination.
Next.
Okay. Next one is
Okay.
the National United States Senate. Everyone in America and probably outside of America has run for this particular full term one.
United States Senator for
Yeah.
California.
For the state of California.
Be very low to enter. What are they, 20
Yeah,
minutes?
I love Barbara Lee, but I need Adam Schiff.
Tell the reason why we selected.
Because Adam
Yeah.
Schiff don't bite down. He don't back down. Right now, with these crazy GOPs, the R people in place, I need someone that don't care what threats come at him, don't care what white envelopes with white powder come at him. He does not back down. And I need a non-black back down brother in that seat. That's what I need. And although I love Barbara, I haven't seen her stand up and be the real blue, roll your head, shake your finger, Maxine Waters when it comes to fighting this man. So that's who I'm voting for. I need, and this is for the public, I need a kick-ass man in that space. I'm sorry. So
Stephen has his hand up. Oh, excuse me. We'll let Emma talk and then we'll go to Stephen.
Okay. Okay, real quick. Okay. And we talk about Adam Schiff. I realized there were 3 people from California, Barbara Lee, Adam Schiff, and Katie Porter. And the reason I love Barbara Lee ran out of money. She wasn't able to get her message out there. They will split the vote if you don't decide on one person. And Adam Schiff was the best of the 3. I agree. He's a good person. He's strong. He's going to represent all of us. And hopefully more vote for him so he get at least 50% of the vote. That is why Steve Garvey is running. He is hoping that we split the vote between Barbara, Adam, and Katie Porter. And that is the reason I went with Adam Schiff.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Stephen Turner.
I'm also going with Adam Schiff for a number of reasons. If you watch the debate and Barbara Lee, I'm from Oakland, and my youngest daughter worked in her office. It's just that I think we just need someone that's more in tune and to the needs. But Edwin, I'm going to hand the mic to you because you and I get some comments about Barbara Lee.
Well, I hate to do this because I love Barbara, but Barbara's well up in age. She is a senior, right? And that has its merits, but Adam Schiff is what we need right now. I have to agree with Crystal. We need a man that is gonna fight tooth and nail in every way possible to keep the GOP from having any kind of power. Because if the orange man becomes elected once again, guys, we're looking at a dictatorship in the United States, which means people of color will be put into a servitude position, whether you like it or not. And you might as well pack your bags and go move to another country.
Yeah, I'm going back to England, Edwin. You're in bed. I'm heading back home.
Yolanda, I do have a current passport, but I'm a family of 10. Okay. So I got to bring my kids and my grandkids with me.
I got room, Robin.
Yolanda, do they have Oreos in England?
We have Oreos.
You have Oreos in England. I'm not just talking the cookies, right? I mean,
but as I told my Hispanic friends, I said I might have to just get across the border first. So let your people know you got some brown family members, but it's 10 of us. Okay.
And I'm either going to Egypt or South Africa because I got people and friends and family there, and I can live in Egypt for it's $29. It's $29 to $1. I can live like a queen in Egypt. So I might be there for 4 years.
Steven, you enjoying us? No, you finished? Okay.
I have a comment. Thank you for this discussion here on Adam Schiff, because I was voting for Barbara. And so thank you, Crystal, and was that Stephen talking, whoever. Thank you.
And
Yeah, we
Barbara's
just
8 years. She's 8 years younger than Auntie Maxine, so
yeah,
she's up.
but Auntie Maxine, she like my grandmother. I feel you when you can speak your mind and say what you need and dare you to come back and say something. So that's what I'm looking for right now because Edwin is absolutely right. I think all humor aside, I think we all understand how important this election is and how important it is for us to vote. So and Emma talked about this on Saturday. We need to make sure our 18-year-olds understand what they need to do. They need to get to the voting poll. My sister took the ballot and put it in front of each one of her children's door. And she said, then I scheduled an appointment to come downstairs because we need to get this fixed. And I'm taking all ballots with me when we leave the house.
Right.
So she just went down the line. So we need to make sure everyone in our household, I know our kids are saying these are old people. They're listening to all of the nonsense that's out there, and you have to be able to decipher it. But for us, we have to make sure that this world, and Yolanda, I'm sure Yolanda really knows this. We have children. This morning I posted on my Facebook page. I've been doing inspirational quotes since January, but I posted about children. We are voting for those American people. Those are the American people we are voting for. And so they're asking, will the adults in the room remember you're voting for me? So vote for them because they're our future and we cannot have them growing up in a dictatorship. If you look around the country, look what's going on in Israel, look what's going on in Palestine, look what's going in Venezuela, look everywhere in a country, in a developing country, look what is happening to their children. We have to make sure we are protecting the country that we live in. And if my ancestors were dragged from Africa to come here, I'd be damned if I'm going to let these GOP folks just come in and decide that I'm going back to slavery because I ain't going to go like nice. Like it ain't going to be a nice thing. So, because I'm just way too opinionated to be that person. So it's important.
Think that just, we're up against our time, but I think that as we start to plan the community briefing presentations going forward, we need to maybe every 6 weeks or so have a forum like this, right? Because there's always something on the ballot. There's always some issues coming up. And then that way we all become more familiar with these candidates and the measures. And when, matter of fact, we'll have a debriefing. I think we need a debriefing after the election. But, right after the election, but I think that this forum allows us to be able to visit with each other and get the feedback and folks' experience. And I think that we can, maybe every 6 weeks or so, do just a voters forum, an election forum or whatever we want to call it. And to Carolyn's point and a couple other people's point, Edwin, as well, invite folks to come in. I asked Carolyn, I want her to send me a bio about LawPi, because that's an organization that's getting women ready to run for office. So I think that, guys, this was a great idea. This was a great idea. And I think that the momentum that the community briefing is having and the effect that we're having speaks volumes.
And we have, this is just a primary. We still have our general in November. So we will definitely, we will be back every 3 months until November. And so anything that you guys, Edwin, you want to come back and talk, I know you've been working and advocating in this space. So please, we need to make sure we're well informed, but so very important. Want to thank you guys. The uniting of the chambers, which is not really just all the Chamber of Commerce, is all our organizations need to come together so we can have this one voice. So we just stepped out to be the trailblazers, but I'd like to see the health field, all our organizations come together as one voice, the educational youth programs all come together. The financial, the money people, I need us all that are in this construction, all of us that are in these organizations that have members and we have one voice, we need to all come together to create a massive voice. So that is important. And so myself and Recycling Black Dollars and the BBA and GLAC, Angela, Gibson Shaw, and as well as JC, we have still Crenshaw Chamber, we have stepped up. So we are actually going to formalize that and create a template, and then we're going to start a massive movement. And that's going to segue into this conversation I'm about to have. I have the honor and the privilege to be speaking at the Black Family Summit. Yolande Becker, she's been doing some amazing stuff. And I was just looking, Yolande, and it said, I realized it's on Super Tuesday. And so what better time to speak on the power of the Black dollar? Guys, we have so much more power than we utilize, because that $1.8 trillion is a big voice, and we're not using that big voice. So I am going to have that opportunity. Yolanda, so we can close out, you just tell them about the Black family, and I will be there on Super Tuesday, which is March 5th, and I'm speaking on the power of the Black dollar. And
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving me this 1 minute. You know, Crystal for me is like a mentor in the community. We had Sarah on from Black Business Association, who's been a supporter of my work. We launched 2 years ago. We have 502 members in NAPI, parents who just pay $1 after 2 years to hear this story. And this is our second annual summit at the California Endowment, happening on Tuesday, the 5th of March. I hope many of you will come. We still have around about 50 tickets, so we're not sold out this year. We trebled our numbers. We went from 100 last year to 300 this year. 180 people will be coming to hear Crystal's message. I believe buying black on black. I live it, I breathe it, I act every day. When I have to make a decision in the knowledge shop or NAPI, I buy black first. If I can't buy black, then I buy cafe latte. If I can't buy cafe latte, then I go dolce de leche. I start dark chocolate, hot chocolate, and I work. I very rarely ever get to milk. I'm just going to let you know that. Very rarely, because we have enough people in our community who can do this for each other. So I'm very proud to have Crystal on my platform. We have Dante King, who wrote 400 Years of Oppression, what we've gone through as a people in this country, and why you need to come and hear his story. And then opening the afternoon, we have keynote speaker, Dr. Chike Akua, who is an African-centric revolutionary around education, specifically when it comes to teaching our children to read. So come on down, be a part of the day, send cousins, aunties, uncles, all you retired, people who sit in your house all day and don't have nothing to do. This is the place to be. But remember, I'll be reminding you all day, go out and vote. We have people who fought for us to be able to vote, and we're not voting in America. My students at 3 are going, go vote, mommy, go vote. So
yes,
Yolanda told me to tell you to make sure you vote. And if you don't have one of those I voted stickers on Tuesday, it's going to be a problem for you and me. So hope to see you all at the California Endowment. Come and hear our beautiful sister, Crystal, and others that we have on the platform. We have a full program from AI to Black Dollar to families and students to mindfulness and yoga. It's the whole day. And it's the new face of Black education in America. Come on down.
All right. Thank you. So I will be there on Tuesday.
Latte power.
Latte power. I like that, Yolanda. That's
dark chocolate.
The color chart,
work
right?
Your way through the Starbucks selection and never get to that creamy foam on the top of your hot chocolate. You'll know you're doing real business. See, you guys can't say it because you're American, but I can, because I'm a
No, we can say it too. We ain't scared.
Good. That's it, Robin. Tell them. Thank you. I love you guys. See you Tuesday.
Thank you. We've gone over time, but this has been awesome. This is going to be, I am speaking tonight at the Urban League for their Black History event, but I will get this up on YouTube like in the next day or so. Please go share it. But it is on Recycling Black Dollars Facebook page. So please share this with everyone you know. But I cannot impress on you how important it is to get our young people between the ages of 18 and 35. They can be a little bit confusing. So make sure you get them out there. Got your ballot? Got your ballot? You got his ballot already ready? My mind is ready too. Yeah, mine is ready. There was a couple I could change now, but I guess I it's in ink, so I don't know. So I think it is what it is. So I have to make a correction in November. But
Get some
anyway,
white out, girly.
No, no, that's voter fraud.
They will disqualify you. Do not white out.
Yes,
Don't
I'm
white
gonna
out.
have to.
No, that's
I'm
that's
gonna
worse
have
than a
to.
hanging Chad.
Yeah,
All right, you
go with
guys, we
what it
want to
is.
thank Joseph as usual, Michelle, Renee, Bianca, Yolande,
Oh,
Adina, Ardina,
oh yeah.
Coach. You know, we just want to thank you guys for always being here, standing with us. We just appreciate it. Truly, we do.
Right on.
Thank you guys.
Have a good
Power
week.
to the people.
Love you,
Vote.
elders.
Latte power.
If your
Cindy,
vote
I'm
wasn't
gonna punch you in your
powerful,
left eye when I see you.
I start with espresso. I don't get to latte very often.
if your
Oh,
if your
go
vote,
Joseph. I like that one. Start espresso. I'm with
right.
you, Joe.
Because if you don't vote, they wouldn't be trying to take it away from you if it didn't have no value. That's the only way they take something from you if it has no value. If it has value, so go vote. In fact, it's got $1.8 trillion worth of value.
Worth the
How about
value.
that?
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
like that. I like
All
that.
right.